Hello guys, today I'll be ranking the Filter albums, and if you haven't seen my review for the latest single Murica, definitely check it out after this video. But yeah, I am a newer fan. I got into Filter earlier this year, and I've always knew of the band, I just never got around to checking them out until this year, I guess. So yeah, I am definitely really late, but I guess better late than never, I guess. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this ranking. I'll be going from worst to best. And keep in mind, this is just my personal ranking. You don't have to agree with it, but feel free, of course, to let me know your ranking in the comment section below. And there are placements in this ranking that could maybe change at any time, but anyways, at the bottom, I have Crazy Eyes. With this album, this is mainly just the one album in their discography that I just personally just cannot get into. There are some moments with the vocals from Richard Patrick that kind of turns me off a little bit, and I don't know. Lately, I just don't think he's been sounding that great vocally. I mean, he still has his moments where he sounds fine, but also moments where I think he sounds a bit off, and that's just my personal opinion. But still, all around a great vocalist, though. But with this album, I liked a few songs. I like "Take Me to Heaven" and Mother E is okay. Tremors is okay, but I don't know. I just can't get into this album personally, so that's why it has to be at the bottom for me. But then we have the album Anthems for the Damned, and this was their album. This is the album where they came back 5 years later, 5 or 6 years later. Of course, that last album before this one was the Amalgamate, but with this album, I like the album overall, but the album for me just doesn't have the strongest replay value, and I think the second half does kind of drag sometimes, or it has moments that drag. But some of my favorites on the album are "Soldiers of Misfortune," "What's Next." I do really like "Cold." "In Dreams" is kind of an underrated song. I like that one, but the album also has some songs I think are just so-so or meh or just okay. But again, the album it's good. I like it, but it's never been one of my favorites. But next in my ranking is "The Sun Comes Out Tonight." Pretty solid album. This album does kind of feel a bit more radio friendly compared to some of their other albums, which is fine either way. I still think it's a good album. Some of my favorites are "We Hate It When You Get What You Want." I do really like "Surprise." "This Finger's for You" is kind of an underrated song. I really like that one. "Take That Knife Out of My Back" is also pretty good too. Another favorite of mine on the album. But this album, I like it. Not an album that I return to a lot, but again, I still think it's a solid album and does have its share of highlights. But next in my ranking is "The Trouble with Angels." And this album, I thought it was a solid return to form, and maybe that was what they were going for, but if they were, they definitely did a good job, because this album, I think overall, is pretty strong. Some of my favorites are "The Inevitable Relapse," "Drug Boy," "No Love," "No Reentry." I do really like "Clouds." That's a pretty cool song. But this album, pretty solid. Maybe one or two quote-unquote filler tracks, maybe. But either way, I still think it's a great album. But next in my ranking is the Amalgamate. And with this album, I just really like the sound of the guitar tone. I think it's strong, loud, and powerful. And I don't know, I think the guitar really shines in this album. And some of my favorites are "You Walk Away," "Where Do We Go From Here," "Colorblind," "The Only Way Is the Wrong Way." I do really like "It Can Never Be the Same." I think this album has some pretty great deep cuts. Some of the songs on this album I think are maybe a little bit overlooked, like "So I Quit" and "Goddamn Me." Those are really good songs that I think are kind of overlooked. But yeah, this album, definitely one of my favorites. When I was getting into Filter, this was an album that I instantly enjoyed. There were maybe one, two, or three songs that I thought were just okay, but the rest of the album I just instantly was just hooked on. Especially with songs like not the title track, the album opener, "You Walk Away," Instantly loved that song, and it's probably one of my favorite Filter songs. Yeah, overall, definitely a great album. And next to my ranking is the classic Short Bus. Definitely a classic at this point. Some of my favorites are Hey Man, Nice Shot, Dose, Under, So Cool, Stuck in Here. I did recently give White Like That another listen, and I do really like that one. I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but if it's not, then it's maybe an honorable mention because that song is a song that's recently grown on me a little bit more. Originally, it was not one of my personal favorites, but lately it's starting to become maybe one of my favorites or maybe an honorable mention. But this album, it's raw, it has its share of heaviness, and overall, definitely a classic and definitely a great album. And finally, at the top, I have Title of Record. And yeah, this one has to be my favorite. I really dig this one. You have your more industrial side, and you also have some moments of heaviness, and you also have some solid melody in this album too. Of course, I think the first song I heard from Filter was Take a Picture. I might have heard Hey Man, Nice Shot at one point, but I can't remember. So my guess is that Take a Picture was my first song, and it's still one of my favorites. I mean, the melody and just I guess the way the song progresses and all that, it's again one of my favorite Filter songs easily. And same with some other songs on the album, like The Best Things and probably Cancer. Cancer lately has been becoming one of my personal favorite Filter songs. I really like that one. Musically, at times, it kind of feels theatrical in a way or cinematic, but that's just kind of what I hear. But definitely a great album and easily my favorite. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on my ranking. How would you rank the Filter albums? Let me know some of your favorite or least favorite songs or albums and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and a like, subscribe. Have a nice day and take care.